carried. Okay, so we are at communications for action. And the first one we have is our technical planning region regulations, the technical briefing in Stonewall. Any questions or comments, or Deepak, did you want to comment on that one at all?
I recommend that council should at least be attending this technical briefing if they can. I will provide an update in camera as to some of the other discussions associated with this, if you have any questions.
Okay, and I think that was on our list of things that Heather had put for us to attend, so I'm not sure who signed up that they would like to go to this one.
That's the one in August the 2nd?
Hope if I give you my stuff,
And
right?
4th.
I put a question mark by
It's
it.
not
Or
on-
4th.
It's not on,
The very top one.
First one.
what's this, August the 2nd?
It could be also, August 2nd, it's available at the Sonova Auditorium in Stonewall. And that's from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. on August the 2nd. Or at the Center, TC Energy Center in Ile-des-Chênes on August the 4th at 10 to 12.
Okay, and the other thing that I noticed, and I'm not sure if anybody else did, because of it being on the provincial site for consultation comments, that period is normally 45 days, but I did read somewhere earlier today that the consultation has been increased to 60 days for this particular one.
Correct. And there will be an opportunity as part of Engage Manitoba to participate in your comments afterwards.
This is Zoom or what? Or is it in person?
It's in person.
So which one are we going to? The Stonewall one or the Ile-des-Chênes?
And it's up to council members, whichever one you want to attend.
Oh,
So I'm not sure
So
which ones.
we could just show up, do we don't have to sign? or-
No, you don't have to sign.
No, I think they wanted us to sign up.
They said that they'll be sending out a formal invite, and then just to accept the one that you wish to attend. So we haven't received the formal invite yet. Yeah. We did? Today? Yesterday? Last week? So we'll send the formal invites out to council members and accept the one you wish to attend. But let us know so that we can put it in your information.
So it doesn't cost.
Okay, are we gonna proceed with the resolution today, though?
Yes. Resolved, Mayor Feeblecorn and councilors. Why don't we just make it council?
Yeah.
Resolved, Mayor Feeblecorn and council be authorized to attend the Capital Planning Region Technical Briefing at the Sonova Auditorium in Stonewall on August the 2nd. Or,
Can I have a mover, please?
I'm just gonna add to it, Madam Mayor, or the Center, TC Energy Center in Ile-des-Chênes, Manitoba, August 4th, 2020.
Okay. Well, August 4th, you kind of, I think, have to be careful, because is that not the arm golf tournament?
Yes.
And I'm not sure who's going to that one.
I think I'm going
Is the 3rd. The boat launch is the 3rd, so there's no conflict with that one. Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor. So, moved by Councilor Spicer, seconded by Councilor Orbis.
Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, the next one is the Stars, Night with the Stars Gala.
I have a question on the regulation.
Oh, there's a question on the regulations. Sorry, Madam Mayor.
Say that again.
There's a question on the regulations on the last item from Councillor Spicer.
So I just wanna see.
Go ahead.
Just wanna see if I'm reading this correctly. So the way I understand this is it's gonna cost us about $12,100, because that's our population range. And then the city of Winnipeg asked us to put in as much money as all the other 17 municipalities put together. Is that what your understanding is?
Except that they will be required to submit a budget every year in February, which may be higher than that
Okay.
everyone has to participate in.
So, and the other side of this, which kind of correlates, so the voting, the way this works is, I found quite interesting. And I'm not sure if it requires both to be in place.
Double majority, yes.
Okay, so over half of the municipalities have to vote in favor of something.
Correct.
So that would be 10 out of 18.
Yep.
Okay. And in order for it to be approved, Winnipeg has to be one of the yes votes.
Correct. Which in fact gives Winnipeg a veto, which I've already identified with the province. And there was considerable dialogue on this that I can discuss. But the issue is one of the things that should be, because basically 19 municipalities could vote for something, or 17, and then one says no, and it doesn't pass because it's a double majority vote. One is greater than 50% of the number of municipalities must agree, and then greater than 50% of the population. Oh my God. And so when it's greater than 50% of the population, there's only one municipality, then no one else, not even 19 municipalities, or 17 municipalities put together,
Set up those rules.
provincial. And so,
So
That
basically,
is-
Winnipeg has to be in favor. If they're not, it's not going to.
So why does anybody else vote then? Just like Winnipeg.
Because I just wanted to see if that's how I
Really?
read it correctly. That's all.
and that might be something that council members may want to bring up. But it's gone forward as such. And that's probably one of the biggest challenges as part of what will, I guess the bigger question is what is being voted on the majority of the time, and what impact can it have. The biggest one that could have the biggest impact, of course, is studies, other work, and budgets that could have a significant impact on the rest of the municipalities.
See, the challenge that I'm having with this is like in one way I see it, okay, well, if they're paying half of the cost, then maybe they should have half of the say. And I kind of, part of my mind agrees with that, right? The challenge that I'm having with this is that and I know it can change in the future, okay? But so let's look at it 20 years from now. So let's say the city of Winnipeg is now full of development because it probably could be in 20 years, maybe a little longer. So now St. Clements puts out a big development. We want to change the region so we can put in a big development because they're full. Well, if they vote against it, it doesn't happen. And you brought up the other point, like all of the municipalities outside of Winnipeg might be in favor of something like, say, transit. It's transit, for example, putting in some kind of a transit system. Winnipeg is against it, it gets vetoed. Like I'm just brought it up because I think it can be be problematic, maybe not in the beginning, but in the future, for sure.
And one of the options could be, my recommendation, we can discuss this in.
I just wanted to make sure I was reading it correctly, that's why I asked the question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor. We can move on to the next item, which is invitation to the night with Stars Gala. And this is on September the 8th. I wasn't able to discern what they're costing. They're asking for some level of, you can buy tickets individually, but we didn't have a list, and I had trouble getting onto their website. It shouldn't be very much, and it should something good to support from a council's perspective, so we're offering it up for your decision to attend this on September the 8th. So anyone interested, council members?
There is a charity event that day already too.
Correct. There is the golf tournament at Selkirk on that same day. So 4 council members are already going, or 3 council members are already going back.
Yeah, I'm not going to the soccer.
Would you like to go to this, council?
I could maybe.
We'll put down, any other council members interested? Madam Mayor?
That's Thursday.
No, I think I'll pass. I thought I might have had something else going on that day, but I think when this came up, previously it was quite expensive, and if you looked at the sponsorships that they have attached there, I believe that was quite expensive.
Correct.
Oh, so it's pretty expensive.
What's the
So
same
I'm
one,
not
council
sure
member?
if anybody wants to go, or if we just want to do a sponsorship. So any comments or thoughts?
Councilor Horbus has indicated he's interested in going.
Okay.
What did I ever do for you?
We normally give something to Stars.
Yes.
We normally do give a donation. Is this, if we did something like this, would it be replace that donation, or would it be something on top of it?
This is on top of it.
That's what I was wondering when I read it at the time, because I did look at it also and I thought the price was up there, but.
Maybe we should just say what the donation.
Yeah. Yeah, how much is the ticket to go? $100 or what?
Does it show an individual ticket?
No?
We'll have to find out the individual.
Or maybe if
show.
you donate, maybe you get tickets.
No, there was no freebies, and, like, I think the least expensive was,
2,500.
yeah.
It's the dessert.
$2,500 a seat?
No, it's a sponsor, dessert sponsor is the lowest priced one. And Spirit of Stars, $2,500. Table sponsor, $2,500. Individual ticket, $225.
Where was that, Councilor?
I clicked on the, on that letter, there was a place to click for the.
Yes, but I couldn't get onto that website as early as this morning.
Yeah, you're on it, oh.
How many people at a table?
No, I've got the I've got the PDF of it.
Hmm.
Is it in here, or maybe I missed it?
Yeah, go to the letter, and then at the very beginning of the letter, there's an underlying thing saying see sponsorship.
Yes. And that takes you to this.
Yeah. Yep. If you go down all the way to the bottom, it lists out everything.
I think Debbie just said
So individual ticket prices are cheaper definitely
Yeah,
than the $25.
$225.
What did you say, Deb?
If you're asking me if I said anything, no, I didn't say anything. I just wondered if there was any interest from members of council or if you just wanted to do the donation. So if there are members of council that wish to attend, that's fine.
A lot of us are busy that day.
What's going on that day? Is there a golf tournament?
Correct. And you're a volunteer.
Okay, which one is that?
Selkirk.
Bob
Oh,
Jefferson.
okay, is that the Bob Jefferson one?
That's the one.
Okay,
Okay,
so I don't know,
We already,
do we just wanna make a, do we just wanna make a donation then?
our,
How about if we just do it at the time that we normally do our donation
yeah,
to
I
start?
mean, this is above and beyond our regular
Yeah.
donation.
So the least we can donate is $2,500?
Right, yeah.
I think we just wait for their letter that comes out that asks for donation specifically.
Yeah, and at
That'll
that
be a
time,
separate-
we can add a 25.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay?
That sounds good to
Okay,
me.
so we'll just take the, we just won't have a resolution. Thank you. We'll consider it as information for council.
Thank you.
Okay, so Inclusion Selkirk is another golf tournament. This is Inclusion Selkirk's golf tournament, their second annual on August 25th. And individual at $1.30 or $130 or $500 for a team of 4. Is council interested in being part of Inclusion Selkirk?
But do we know where this money actually goes, Inclusion Selkirk? What do they do? Did they do anything for us, or?
No, I think it's mainly dealing with Selkirk.
Good. I think that answers your question.
Yeah, good enough. So,
We'll just take it as
So no-
information.
Okay, do it as information.
10-4.
Okay, the next one is the powwow for the Broken Head Gymway. So they are having the anniversary for the signing of the treaty, 150 years. They're having it on Friday, August the 5th at 7 p.m. And they've specifically asked for the 3 mayors to be part of the grand entry, as well as anyone else who's interested. So who's interested in this one, Councillor? And we'll,
Yeah, I was just gonna say I did bring it forward because whoever wants to attend probably can attend. I mean, the invitation came for the mayor to be in the grand entry, but it's a public gathering, so that's why I put it on. If anybody else wants to attend, I think it would be great. The more of us that are there, the better.
so right now, so far, we have Sutherland and Orbis. Anyone else? If not, then I'll put that forward.
Okay,
Resolve Mayor Fiegelkorn and Councillor Sutherland and Orbis be authorized to attend the 150th anniversary of the 1871 signing of Treaty 1 grand entry in Scantlebury, Manitoba on Friday, August 5th, 2022.
so
Second,
Moved by Councillor Passeroich, seconded by Councillor Spicer.
any further discussion on the powwow? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried.
And Councillor Strang has said that she's interested, so we'll just include her in the
I was
discussion.
gonna say, Madam Mayor, can I possibly, it's a short week that week, and there's lots going on that week, it seems like. Can I get added to it after, or let you know?
well, you could just come.
Yes, if there is, if there is anybody that does end up attending and is not in the resolution, we can always get the resolution after. It's, to me, that's not a big issue at this point in time. We're not traveling all that far.
Thank you.
put her in right now.
Yeah, we could just include Councillor Strang, and if she can't make it, she can't make it. It's happened on previous resolutions.
I just noticed that it's,
So we'll just
7
update it
p.m.
You're okay as a mover?
as a friendly amendment.
Absolutely.
Second is okay with it?
Okay, thank you. So we can move on to the next item, Madam Mayor. I'm trying to stay on time here.
Excuse me, Deepak. I have a question.
Yes,
Did we pass the minutes?
yes, we did.
We did?
Yes, we did.
Sorry.
Oh, we didn't?
I don't think we did.
Okay. Resolve the minutes of June 28, 2022, regular meeting of council be adopted as presented. Moved by Councilor Horbus, seconded by Councilor Sutherland.
Do you have this next item, do you guys want to move to in camera?
Right.
Are there any corrections or additions or changes to those minutes from the 28th? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. And I apologize for that. That was my fault.
Okay, so if we can, the road allowance, since it is a purchase of land, it can be an in-camera item when we come out of in-camera, make a decision on it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Bell Mobility Agreement as item number 8.2. So what we have here is an agreement, Bell Mobility has come forward and this is for our cell phones. And that's for council members that are also on the same plans as well as some of our staff. They've taken a look at the plan and they've offered the plan similar to the one that they have for the provincial government. And based on that plan, we could be looking at an annual cost savings of about $3,800.
Wow.
And so this gives us an ability also to look at some of our plans and adjust those. So we'll do some adjustments because we can put some people that are maybe on normally on a $50 plan that can be on unlimited data. That gives us a lot more flexibility. And so if council members are on a plan, we can put them on $50 a month plan and you're on unlimited data, so you're not restricted by the amount of data you're using for your cell phone.
If you're, yeah.
Usually it begins to ratchet down at about 15, after 15 gigabytes you use 10 to 15 gigabytes depending on who's the provider. But it doesn't stop you from using the unlimited. It also gives you nationwide calling, all those other functions available with it. This also gives us the ability for, if now that council can travel again with COVID, if you have to go out to the States and so forth, you can pay for the mobility bike per day and have it used just like you were using it in Canada. So I think $8 to $10 a day.
But don't you need a new phone to do that?
As part of this plan, if you need to replace your phone, you can.
No,
They have a
but
set of phones.
everything in the States is going to 5G. So if you don't have a phone that does 5G,
It usually ratchets down.
you know, because Bell sent me a notice on my phone saying, if you don't have 5G phone, you're not going around in the States.
So if you weren't on this plan and you just had your phone and you were getting the $50 a month to use your phone, could you go on this now?
Yes.
You want to?
Yes.
Because it's kind of a rip on that $50 a month because then now you guys tax us and take money off of that too. So
Yeah, you can certainly go to this and then have a
probably
choice of
better to
phones.
go on to this and then we can use our phone 24/7.
Correct. So we can certainly have a look at that.
Our personal one and not getting the full $50, right?
Correct. And so there's some advantages, so what we're looking for is council's authorization to go ahead, sign the agreement, and after the agreement, we have enough savings that we think that there'll be it's a good advantage.
Oh, what a great deal. Yeah.
Yeah, they approached us, didn't even have to look.
Bell is wonderful.
They get worried.
I think thanking the province of Manitoba for negotiating a good deal on behalf of all those families. So resolve the Bell Mobility Agreement between the RMSA, Clements, and Bell Canada be accepted and the CAB authorized to sign and seal same.
Can I have a mover, please?
Moved by Councilor Horbus, seconded by Councilor Strang.
Any further discussion on this item? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried.
next, Madam Mayor, is a request for a street name change. The residents at 29043 Path 44 NSR have requested to have their street name changed, or the address changed, so the street can be the North Service Road and Highway 44 changed to Highland Glen Drive. They've talked to the province, and the province says if council passes a resolution to change the name, the province will follow through on it. Their complaints have been that they very difficult to get deliveries and so forth by the description of this, and if it had this kind of designation, they'd be able to get deliveries and other services. They've talked to the neighbors, and there's been a signed letter. They followed our policy on the street name changing, and we see no conflict. Councilor Sutherland.
Thank you. That's a service road, so are we responsible to purchase these signs and put them up? Or does Highways put them up? I guess we'll be, right?
That's a good question. We'd have to verify, since Highways will be making the name change, they might put them up.
Well, if they're expense, that's better, yeah. And is it only going to be, I guess it won't confuse things, but you're only going to have that one strip of the service road is going to be Heritage Road.
Highland,
I'm sorry.
Highland Glen Road, yes.
Only that, okay, just the ones. Just curious of where it is at our expense.
I'd see the biggest expense for us would be maybe to signs, if we had to put the signs up. If we had on said that would be the biggest expense.
I was gonna ask about the signs as well, who'd be responsible. Is it just a service road, or is there residents on that road?
There are residents on that road, that's why.
So, now here's the other thing, we just changed the road, and I think we were responsible for all the ID and all that too. Like, people had to change their addresses,
Mailing.
driver's licenses, all that other stuff, are we gonna do all that?
Why would we?
Yeah.
Well, that's the question, like,
Nope.
is it expected, or?
It's not necessarily expected, it's when the RM imposes as opposed to a request. Since all the neighbors have signed on to this request, they would be responsible. So the option is for the RM to pay for it when the RM decides that they want to rename something.
Okay.
Because that's imposing it on them.
No, that's fair.
Go ahead, Councilor.
Might be a silly question, but just to make sure we don't have a Highland Glen Road name already.
No,
Yeah.
check, we don't have a Highland Glen.
Right,
I'm just gonna jump in here for a second. Further to what Glenn was saying about having addresses changed and things like that, when I read through this, I don't believe that it really affects their mailing addresses or anything. I think this was more of a request for delivery purposes than anything else.
Which would have an effect
I think
on
their
them.
mailing addresses would stay the same.
Absolutely.
I think they're asking for delivery and mailing, which is, Google delivery and so forth, so they'll use it as a mailing address, which is fine by us. Just we're not gonna be paying for it.
Right.
This is good if it helps everybody. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
Okay.
Might help with emergency services too.
Resolved, Council of the Road Municipality of St. Clements authorize the naming of North Service Road adjacent Highway 44 to Highland Glen Drive. Moved by Councilor Bassaroich, seconded by Councilor Sutherland.
Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. I guess the only question that I would have, and I should ask this before, is what portion of that service road is being changed? Is it the whole thing from wherever it starts at, say, just to the east of Highway 59 to where it ends?
It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
From roads 29 east to 30 east,
yeah, just the one portion.
the 1 mile.
That's what I asked before, is it don't.
They should do the whole thing already once, so for future development. Good question.
Then you don't.
Yeah, because Because that service road is longer than a mile.
Okay, well, our resolution does state the whole road, so we'll
Okay,
we'll let
good.
them know that the entire
Okay.
road is. Okay, next item is the Public Works asphalt patching tender. And so this is a fairly straightforward yearly process that we go through for our public works for asphalt patching. Several companies were approached, 3 replied back. The lowest out of those is Maple Leaf Construction, based on the price per ton overlay as well as the price per ton for excavated overlay. An excavated overlay is usually when we need to replace it when we're fixing culverts and then coming back to fix up the road afterwards. And so we will of course stay within budget, but it is based on unit pricing. And so we're recommending to go with Maple Leaf Construction for our asphalt and overlay program this year. Okay, I'll read out the resolution. So, be it resolved, Council accept the recommendation of the Public Works Manager authorizing CAO to authorize Public Works Manager to award the asphalt patching to Maple Leaf Construction for $250 per ton plus applicable taxes for asphalt overlays estimated at $58,200 plus GST to complete the asphalt patching within the allotted budget. Moved-
Okay, can I have a
there's
number, please?
Moved by Councillor Corbis, seconded by Councillor Sutherland, and there's a question from Councillor Spicer.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
Can you bring up the report again, please? So, there's 2 different prices there. Does that mean we're only doing the $250 part, or how does this work?
We're estimating for both of those to stay within our budget. And so, yes, the resolution only identified $250. We can modify the resolution to include the $450 per ton excavated overlay,
Yeah, okay.
to be clear. Would you like me to read that, or just to consider that as a friendly amendment?
Friendly amendment, it's good.
Okay. Okay, Madam Mayor, you can call for a vote now.
Thank you. Have a mover, have a seconder, call for the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried.
Okay. So the Public Works excavator. So, I need council to be made aware of some things on this as well. First of all, we went out for pricing for the excavators. They took a look at it. There were some that were not even available till 2023, so they concentrated on the ones that could be available this year. Out of those, they looked at the top 4. They had our operators also test them out. Normally we use a Volvo at this time, but we're looking at recommending the John Deere. They did try out the Hyundai, which was the cheaper version, but it was very underpowered, and most of the operators didn't think that it was the proper one. After considerable review and taking a look at the maintenance and upkeep of that, it was recommended that we go with the John Deere. Council needs to be aware that we did get a last-minute email stating that the Volvo was now available, but this was after the closing of the tender, as well as after the publication of the report, which was made public with all the pricing. And they said now they would have something available, and my recommendation is that we cannot consider that as something that I can reply back to the individuals saying the tender was closed and we can't proceed anything after the closing of the tender. And so our recommendation is to go with the John Deere with the traded value. So this is slightly over our allotted budget for this year. And what Public Works is recommending is that they would they would hold off on one of their purchases so that they stay within budget.
One of the purchases of,
The dump trailer, I think.
That's right. the dump
Belly
truck.
dump.
I'll move this.
I'll second
Okay, so this is for the excavator, so let me read it. Be it resolved, council accept the recommendation of the Public Works Manager, authorizing the Public Works Manager to proceed with the purchasing of the track excavator from Brand Tractor as per the submission of RFP 2022-05, new 2022-210 GLC unit, including a 5-year, 5,000-hour powertrain hydraulic warranty, and including the beacon listed extra and the new 42-inch digging bucket and 60-inch tilt bucket for the sum of $304,850, less the trade-in value of the municipality's 2007 Volvo excavator for $44,200, and making the net amount to $260,650 plus taxes.
The trade
Moved
was,
by Councilor Orbit, seconded by Councilor Sutherland.
Question,
Go ahead, Councilor.
so we, I guess, keep an excavator for 15 years? Does that sound right, Dave?
it. No, it's a little high. 15 years, did you say?
Oh, yeah, the old
This
one
one
from
is
2007.
2007.
It depends how many hours you get on it. You know,
So you just play
10,000
a few hours more.
10,000 hours, well, then you want to get,
Okay,
So-
good, thanks.
We have two, we have a cat
Yeah,
excavator,
yeah.
and now this is replacing the old Volvo they had, but they had no trouble with it ever, and they didn't get used once they bought that cat that much, so they just use it in the spring or little jogs or whatever, right?
It was running into trouble now.
Yeah.
so I
I
didn't
use
use
it quite a bit, but it all depends on the hours, Scott.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it could be 15 years, but,
Okay, good, no,
you
that's
know,
fine.
we're doing more projects all, all the time, and so
Yeah.
it's probably would get hard.
Okay, so call for the vote, Madam Mayor.
Yes, there's no further discussion. There's no further discussion, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried.
Okay, so the next one is a little unique. This has happened 2 years in a row, and we're calling this the post-COVID issue. Mainly, most of the vehicles are not available,
yep,
especially even used trucks. And so what happens is that when we go in there, we begin to negotiate for the trucks. They want a deposit down so that they can even hold it. For us to do a deposit, we have to have authorization to purchase. So what we're looking for is a blanket authorization to purchase, staying within the budget that we did last year, for the truck we bought last year, and it came in considerably lower. And we'll be doing the same thing this year. Looking for a used truck that will be considerably lower.
Yeah, I'll move it.
Definitely.
Okay, so Public Works Service Truck, be it resolved, council accept the recommendations of the Public Works Manager, authorizing the CAO to authorize the Public Works Manager to purchase a service truck up to $40,000 plus GST. And further be it resolved, the Public Works Manager report back to council when the service truck has been purchased. So that we can at least report back to council, the model and make and everything else, so the council is aware of what was spent. So they have up to $40,000, but they'll stay within budget if not less. So moved by Councilor Orbis and seconded by Councilor Sutherland.
Any further discussion on the purchase of a vehicle?
This is
Hearing
a-
and seeing none? Oh,
Sorry,
I'm sorry, I can't.
this is a replacement too, it's not adding to the fleet. This is replacing one that's old and they're getting rid of.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah. Just so we all know where the button.
they need a new shop if they can.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? I have a mover, I have a seconder, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried.
Okay, so this is, the next item, Madam Mayor, is the declaration of surplus of lands And this is the lands that are,
Were you expecting anybody, DPAC, is there?
yes, we have them for 8 camera at 4 o'clock, so I can call them in right after this. This is for purchase of lands, or identifying the lands that we had identified, which is the lands next to the Donald, the activity center as part of the purchase. What this will do is allow us to declare it surplus. What we'll do is stake out what we still need for the easement to have our drain going into the pond.
Oh, this is behind.
This is behind, this is the lands to the thing, and then we've also made a request to the province of Manitoba to acquire the school property next door, so that we can maybe bundle them all together and something. So, any questions? Councillor Strang, and then Councillor Spicer, and then Councillor Passerovich.
I think it's great to inquire to the province with the school board, but I don't know if we want to sell that. I think we should keep, like, for future with
We
our.
might keep part of it.
Yeah,
to
for
expand, yeah.
expansion of the park, I know like there's a few things we have been requested for a dog park in the area, just a few different things, so that's good. Thank you. The one with the star, totally agree.
Councillor Spicer?
Can you just elaborate on the thought process of using a real estate agent? Why is that preferred?
If we need to use the services of a real estate, sold assets as surplus lands, and if necessary, utilization of real estate agent. Thank you, yes.
Thank you.
And I'll read it as such.
My question is, if we do sell it, are we still responsible for putting that road in? That's why we bought it in the first place, because we didn't want to pay for that road.
No,
No?
because we're selling the land, we were responsible for, because the previous owner had that obligation on us. That obligation is no longer in
So-
existence.
If they're not on all by the road, they can't build nothing on it. Whoever, if somebody is interested.
The access is available.
So,
They have to build the road.
They have the road. Okay.
so that would be stipulated in the land sale.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay, because Councillor Basra, what you're saying, and we don't want to be stuck in the same predicament that we gotta build a road access to it.
Yeah, there's a right of way available there to build a road. On the right of way.
Okay.
Okay, so whereas policy 333, disposition of assets states council approval must be obtained to declare the assets as surplus lands and sold utilizing a real estate agent or auction services. And so we may use that, we may not. And therefore be it resolved, council approves chief administrative officer declare lot A plan 66024 as surplus land, and further be it resolved that council authorizes surplus land be disposed of by selling it with the possibility of using a real estate agent.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, were you saying something?
So it was moved by
Orbis?
Nope.
Councillor Horbis, seconded by Councillor Pelagic.
I just,
Okay, any further discussion on making this land surplus and disposing of it?
Councillor Sutherland.
so, yeah, thank you. We're hopefully gonna put a price tag on it to at least get our money back, if not more, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a mover, I have a seconder, and if there are no further questions or comments, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried.
Okay, Madam Mayor, may I suggest we go into in-camera and we'll finish off the rest of the items afterwards? As we have our delegation here for 4 o'clock.
Sure. Yeah, I kind of forgot about that, sorry. Let's go in camera then.
Okay. Resolve council recess the regular meeting and go into in-camera to discuss legal and personnel issues, and further be it resolved that all matters discussed are to remain confidential as per section 83(1)(d) of the Municipal Act.
Want to post it?
Okay, can I have a mover, please?
Moved by Councilor Bassaroy, seconded by Councilor Strang.